Welcome to the Journey to Forever podcast, where we discuss the highs and lows of life and love. Join us, your hosts, Flo and
Joe,
for a weekly recalculation of our roots as we navigate the twists and turns with candid conversation, comfort food, and laughter. Coronavirus, conspiracy theories, crazy Karens, death, masks, pandemic, and pandemonium are just some of the words synonymous with the year 2020. Join us as we reflect on the year that was 2020. But before we dive into the deep end of an unforgettable year, let's walk in a segment we call What's Your Story? Joe, we're keeping it simple today. If you had to summarize the year that was 2020 in one word, what would that word be?
grateful. The word I really think is grateful because a lot of people haven't made it this far. And I'm fortunate, still have a job, still I believe in good health. So that's the word for me, grateful.
Okay, mine is similar. Mine is illuminating because it helped me to highlight what was important and not important as the months progressed. One of the important things was, as you say, health for sure. So I am appreciative that we're both here to record this episode. And if you're listening on the day that we publish it, because this is going live on the 1st of January 2021, Happy New Year to you forever, family. Thank you for sticking with us through the first season of this podcast. So, are you ready to dive in?
Always.
All right. So, we begin with January. And in preparing for this episode, I had to scroll through conversation history and the like. And on January 1, 2020, we did something very interesting, which was like a vision exercise. We just sat down and had a conversation about what we wanted for the year. I found that very interesting, very useful. But as you know, lots of the things that we would have planned never even came to pass because clearly coronavirus had something else in mind for us.
Definitely. This year you had to live it on a whim.
Yeah.
Because you never know what would happen at what time. So you just had to go with the flow. Literally this year, you had to go with the flow. Pun intended.
All right. I'm in total agreement with that because you had to innovate. If you didn't innovate and find some other workaround to still continue living life with some semblance of normalcy, well, yeah, you would have had a very rough year. And then we moved into February, which I want to believe was a very happy month for us because we were still oblivious at this point as to what was coming.
Yeah, the signs were still team.
Yeah, but actually, I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't even know or hear about coronavirus. Granted, in retrospect, you would have heard lots of stories that things were still active since December when I happened to be in the US. But till February, I was clueless, totally clueless. Clueless to the point that we went to the cinema. We went to see The Photograph, which was good.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Things were normal. And you remember that what I put as a very simple date, but it's hashtag simple dates are the bomb because we literally spent an entire Saturday doing everything but nothing at the same time.
Yeah, that Saturday we basically were tourists in our own country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to have breakfast
We had breakfast.
on the fort.
We went to Fort George.
Right.
We went to the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the barber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a full but calm and exciting day at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And then cheese and meat. March rolled around. And I distinctly remember Friday, the 13th of March 2020. It was a day off for me from work, but then I started getting random messages from my coworkers that said, "Hey, you here we working from home come Monday?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Again, oblivious. The Thursday before that Friday, so which would have been the 12th, we had meetings, and I think at that point in time, it started, coronavirus was on the news, so people in the office were speaking about it. But you thought, okay, it's like Zika, it's like swine flu, things come and go. But then to get messages that you're going to be working from home come Monday, you knew things were serious.
Yeah.
At that point in time, I think you and I started talking about whether we were going to quote unquote quarantine together because we knew that lockdown was imminent.
Yeah.
Right? Things were heading in that direction. For sure. So March was us becoming quarantine buddies. And I think for me, the time that I knew how serious it was around the 24th because that's when we got a message published locally in the newspaper that a Trinity-born teacher, I think she was a principal, she was only 36, she died in Brooklyn.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, what? 36? And she's dead? Because, hey, that's kind of close to my age. Like, really? So I started to take it seriously at that point in time.
Yeah. Coronavirus really hit with a bang. It really brought you to reality. It showed your mortality. And it had respect for no one.
Absolutely no one. At this point in time, I think I was starting to feel as though, okay, is this one of those last days movies, kind of like Armageddon or what was, I can't remember the name of that one with Tom Cruise. But I went to the grocery and you could feel the almost eerie vibes because there was 2 days before we knew locally that we were going to go into lockdown. So I was just going to make my last grocery run to stock up the cupboards and that kind of thing. And it was just so eerie. I was like, okay, what do I get? Because I don't know when next week will be allowed to come outside. So it was so weird. Yeah, but you just try to remain calm. I think at this point in time, people were starting to buy up all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
You couldn't find Lysol.
What was that about? To this day, no one can answer what was the hoarding of toilet paper. Not vitamins, not water, toilet paper. At least you'll die with a clean butt, I guess. Have no idea. Let somebody figure it out, let me know.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I have this note. It says, I felt safe having you by my side as we ran errands. I want you as my sidekick for life. That's why I text you on the 27th of March. So that was cool. Despite all the eerie vibes circulating, we had each other. We were quarantine buddies at this point.
Yeah, I think at that time I was still working. Was I?
No, I think you were.
I was home now.
Yeah,
because
by this time.
Yeah, because I was home a couple of weeks after you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is towards the end of March. I think by that time, because it was lockdown, most businesses basically said, hey,
work from home.
Work from home. Yeah. So along came April. And in April is when I started to feel a little bit better. You know why?
Mm-hmm. What was the cause of that?
Because it was the first time I was ever proud to be living in a quote-unquote banana republic.
Why?
Yes. People use
Explain that to the people.
People use that term in a derogatory manner, right? Meaning that we don't know what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, we live in a third world country.
Right. But April 1st, we had 89 cases, 5 deaths. But at the same time, measures were being put in place to control things. So our borders were shut. People were encouraged to wear masks. And if you heard the messages, it was more than just an encouragement. But it was good to see that people were willing to make the sacrifices.
Yeah, it's good. Majority of the country listened.
Yeah.
That was the good part.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, as in any society, there are idiots.
Yeah, we'll get to the idiots a little bit later on. So I was glad because while it wasn't perfect, I appreciated the decisiveness that our local leaders had to take, as opposed to the chaos that we were seeing all over the international news.
Yes, in the first world countries who took no actions at all for some of them and waited till probably the last possible minute. Basically, how would they say it? After the horse left the stable?
Something like that. Yes. And then month 5 in 2020 rolled around, and I think by this time we were finding our roots. Because around this time, we had gotten a little bit more clarity in terms of wearing masks and being able to venture out in public.
Yeah.
So we started going for our evening walks because working from home, you're literally trapped in your house for 8, 9, sometimes 10 hours because somehow we were working longer hours.
It seemed that way, yeah.
No, for me, I knew I was working longer hours because people say, to me, most people were thinking, oh, well, you can't go anywhere, so let me call, let me message, let me email.
Folks, that's the workaholic in Flo. But for me, I signed in on time and signed out on time. Do not message me after hours. I will speak to you tomorrow. I was not of that at all. So yeah, that's the difference between us. I cut it short. Like, okay, you've gotten my hours, right? That's it. I'm out.
Okay, well, kudos to you for being able to strike a better work-life balance. But for me, the balance came in when we were able to take those evening walks and just unwind and laugh about stupidness and see crazy people who trying to sneak not wearing a mask out in public. And then the most epic thing for me of the whole lockdown situation, the versus battle between Beanie and Bounty. Listen.
Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. Yes, that I am going to say was the best versus battle. It set the theme, the trend, everything. The pace. Everybody after that, basically right now trying to play catch up.
I don't think they will ever catch up.
No, that was awesome. As per usual, we Caribbean people, we know how to party.
Listen, do you want to be that guy?
Do you want to be that guy?
Do you know what I mean? That was trending for the whole week afterwards. Because only in the Caribbean would people be so brave to ask the police, do you want to be that guy? Yo, we live in front of a million plus people now, all over Instagram and all over the internet. Do you really want to be that guy? But yeah, it was, to me, welcome respite from the craziness that was going on all around.
It was the silver lining behind that dark cloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big up to Beanie Man, Bounty Killer.
For sure. And then June rolled around. It's like, oh. But yeah, we halfway through the year, but we're only 3 months into the whole coronavirus pandemic, right? At this point in time, you went back to work.
Yeah, I went back out to work.
Yeah. And this is around this time we got the advice that we must wear cloth masks in public. So I remember you sending me a photo and you in the office with your mask on. And I still find it strange, honestly. I know it's been months, but I am still very anxious when I go out in public and see people with masks on their faces. Seriously.
Yeah, it's like every apocalyptic movie I've ever seen, like what's next? And it's like, wow, whoever thought we'll be here?
But besides that, because you're not seeing people's faces, and I think the criminal element among us would use that instance where their faces are covered to be opportunistic and pounce on people. So I'm usually very observant when I'm out, but my head is even more on swivel because most people, if not all, wearing masks on their faces. I'm still very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I believe now people are a lot more aware of their surroundings, seeing that they can't recognize people anymore. So people are a lot more aware. They take less chances now. That's what I have observed.
And then Dave Chappelle dropped the 846 special on Netflix. We all love Dave. Most of us love Dave because he's great at humor. And while this wasn't humorous, because he was definitely talking about
the reality.
Yes, the reality of the murder of George Floyd. I liked how he presented his thoughts. So, for me, it was how he was able to weave the story to show his personal connection to it. Meaning, George Floyd had a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. He was born at 8:46 a.m. So, the only thing Dave didn't do was cry on the stage. And it was, to me, almost like giving people the permission, the whole world the permission to just exhale, like let it all out. I know you're feeling frustrated, just cry if you need to. That's how I felt watching it.
Yeah. It was a very serious matter, but being the person who he is, he brought it across in such a way that they could not stop listening. And it actually made sense to a lot of people who didn't understand the situation. So he basically brought it down to layman's terms. Like, this is what it is.
Right.
And people were looking for more humor. But he made it simple.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone could understand the serious situation that basically the world, the United States at most, is in at this point in time. The state, it's a trying time.
Yeah. And we can't deny it. The whole world felt it because we saw all the marches all over the place. Everywhere you could think of, people were marching in solidarity. So for me, I welcome the opportunity to just exhale and just say, wow, that was rough.
Yeah, it's not easy seeing somebody get killed or murdered. But what made it more real? Being murdered by the people who swore to protect you.
Yes.
So it showed the double standards that the world has today.
Yeah, definitely. And then we got, at least I got, a bright spark of light and happiness with Hamilton on July 3rd. Like, oh my goodness! I so wanted to see them perform this in person, but besides not being able to find tickets, this honestly could not have afforded the price for the Hamilton tickets. So I was happy that they were able to record and produce this movie. It was phenomenal. It was everything that I expected and more. I cried, I laughed, I sang along off key, but I was happy.
She watched it 100 times. I didn't even watch it once because it's not my kind of movie, but I took some glimpses and it was interesting. I enjoyed the few pieces I watched. I had to take it in small doses, but she watched it over and over. Oh my word. It was like, those children when they first hear Baby Shark, that was her.
Oh my goodness.
Hamilton was her Baby Shark. Yep. I said it.
I don't like that comparison, but I get what you're trying to say.
But am I wrong?
You're wrong. And then we got to the juiciest tabloid news of the whole of 2020.
What month was that?
This is July. We were only in July.
Okay.
That led to songs being produced. Jada, Will, and The Entanglement.
Wow. The Entanglement.
Listen, the only reason why I bring this up is because I just wanted us to talk a little bit about that whole scenario. We would never ever know about the nitty-gritties of their relationship. They clearly had agreements because as far as I know, they are both okay, right? But for me, I just find it interesting that, okay, you've been together for how many years? Babe, do you think you would ever be okay with an entanglement? You or I having an entanglement?
I'll have to say, no.
Definitely not.
No.
Because to me, it's like, why don't you then either one, go to counseling, or two, if that doesn't work, just leave each other, like separate. I get that you're saying divorce is not an option, then work it out.
Well, my view is, me personally, I really don't care. They are grown, they're rich people. What they do is their business. What works for them may not work for other people. So, and probably some people might see that and decide, hey, we could try a little entanglement. So, kudos to them. I am not of that. But really and truly, what they do, honestly, I don't care.
No, I agree. Like I said, it's their business. For me, it's how bad do things have to be for you to actually resort to that, as opposed to having like a conversation, like I say, getting help if you need to. Because to me, throwing or bringing a third party into the mix is more or less complicating things even more.
As I said, that makes them happy.
No, but okay, focus. I was speaking of the scenario, God forbid that you and I hit a rough patch. Because I agree, I don't want marriage is for life. And you don't necessarily want to have divorce on the table or say, oh, that's my get out of jail, quote unquote, free card. But I don't know. I think I prefer divorce than entanglement any day. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I would prefer divorce than entanglement. I'm not into the entangling thing. No. Nope.
Yeah, but it was entertaining.
Yeah, that's the whole thing was entertaining. It was funny, But, and it showed me another side to people that a lot of women agreed with the entanglement. They found nothing wrong with it. Yeah, from what I saw.
Okay, because I didn't see that.
I watched online on the different social networks and they were like, yeah, good, I want the entanglement. And they were serious. They supported Jada and they were like, man this and men that and whatever. But nobody saw it for what it was. What she did was wrong. Come out and say it's wrong. Do not...
No, I wouldn't pass judgment.
Justify it.
I wouldn't pass judgment.
No, when I say judgment, it's not a judgment as in what she did. What she did is her business. Mm-hmm. But the society wanted to normalize it and make it seem like, okay, that's cool. Everybody should do that. I'm good with that. Not knowing that younger people, children, we're talking teenagers, of course, who they're on social media, no matter if parents say, don't be on this, don't be on that. We all know they will find a way to get on. Their friends going to talk about it. They're going to find a way and they're going to know about it. And I did not agree with how some women were actually siding with Jada, like, oh yeah, that's all cool, you know. I would like to have an entanglement. I would do this, I would do that. No, for me, that's not something to normalize. It's an individual thing. An individual make a choice, and that's up to them. But do not come on social media and try to corrupt the whole moral fabric of the world. That's just my view. Only my view.
Thankfully, I didn't see that. What I heard was some pretty interesting conversations from unlikely sources. I remember listening to The Breakfast Club and Charlemagne basically saying, hey, but that's little questionable because August came to her for help. He was in a bad spot. He was he was broken. So for me, it was.
So that alone made it wrong.
To me, whether it's man or woman, whoever is older or whatever, to me, that is not a nice thing to do when somebody comes to you for help. They're vulnerable, and then you allow that to escalate into something else. You know, to me, give the person space, be a support, and when the person has healed and they're okay, then you can probably explore. Because
my thing is, you're doing that and you fully know you do not want anything more from this person. So when this person get attached to you now, like, why are you attached to me? This was only an entanglement.
Yes.
You know, you really mean nothing to me. I love my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So the person who was already vulnerable, they now feel rejected.
Mm-hmm.
So it could never end well.
Yeah, that for me was the sad part of the entire situation. But for a moment, August was on the lips of everyone, and people who may not have known who he was before found out about it. So.
Yep. Hopefully he got paid.
Well, he had the song. He had a song with Rick Ross, I think it was.
I don't know. But yeah, hopefully he got paid. You do you, August.
And speaking of August rolled around, and it was absolutely the month where I cried the most. I would admit, I cried because I remember rolling over at 2 something, happened to pick up my phone, scroll to CNN on YouTube, and saw the message that Chadwick Boseman was dead. And I swear I couldn't believe it. I was watching the video and I was in shock. I was like, no, this is not true. So there I went down the rabbit hole, searching every other news site, and it's like, this is really true.
Yeah, that was 2020 in a nutshell there with that, because it was being consistent.
Yeah, but for me, he was 43. To me, at the height of his career, and he was gone.
He was well on his way. He was setting new limits. I believe that.
It's like, what? But in all of this, I found his story inspiring. As details came to light that he had found out 4 years before, and he basically had worked on all these movies in the 4 years from his initial diagnosis to the time he had died. I was like, whoa, if he could do all that, then what's my excuse? That's what I took away from that.
The guy had a plan and he realized that, hey, this could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to live and enjoy every moment that I have right now, and not focus on the one thing that could, because by focusing on the negative, it will just help him die faster and he will just be depressed. So enjoy the time that you have. So he basically, in his passing, gave us a life lesson.
Yeah, he did. And the bigger life lesson is keep your business to yourself. Because it was the numerous stories of people who actually worked with him on movies. I mean, from the cast of The Five Bloods to people on that show that just came out, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom or some. The one with Viola and him. It literally just came out a few weeks ago.
Not sure.
So those people, which would have been the last set of projects that he worked on, weren't even aware that he was ill. To me, it's like, wow.
Yeah, he didn't want sympathy and everybody trying to pamper him. But no, he just wanted to live.
It's like...
And life is more than just, living is more than just waking up in the morning. You know, that's life.
Right.
But living, really living, is totally different. You know, you go out there, you get things done, you have fun. You know, that is living, enjoying the moment, probably just enjoying a breath of fresh air, traveling to a new place. That is living. Waking up in the morning, that's life. You know, that's just how it is. You go to sleep, you wake up. You go to sleep, you wake up repeatedly, then you die. That's life. But living is actually enjoying it. You know, the time between going to sleep and waking up in the morning, you enjoy your rest time. You wake up in the morning refreshed and you go from there till you go to sleep, enjoying those simple moments, big moments, boring moments, angry moments. They are there for you to enjoy. And people, I say that to say, we have a lot of emotions, use them. There's nothing wrong with getting angry, nothing wrong with being sad. Because you cannot enjoy being happy without experiencing the other side. You'll eventually take it for granted.
Well, and I honestly hope that he was smiling and was very proud of himself when he finally closed his eyes. Honestly. Right.
Wakanda forever.
For sure. Then we get into Strange New September. Even though the entirety of 2020 seemed like strange news altogether. But there was this Susugate locally.
Yeah.
Susugate was like, what? That's what I kept asking myself. What?
If you got in early, you were lucky. If you got in late, well.
Susugate was really, really crazy. And then, speaking of crazies, we had our own local crazy. The man who they faced the Ministry of Health and...
Oh, yeah. A lot of property. He was ridiculous. Saying that Corona not real.
Yes, Corona.
Yeah, COVID-19 isn't real. And he just set about just basically being a nuisance.
Yes. And I honestly didn't expect the conspiracy theorists to exist here. Yes, I know that is naive, but I thought, okay, here we are. We have news from many sources available at our fingertips. You could read and educate yourself and question and, go to reputable sources, meaning scientists and etc. But to see that this person was so brave, and it's one thing to believe in a conspiracy theory to me, but it's a whole other thing to go on and destroy and deface people's property because you
have a different belief.
Yeah.
That's you believe that people have a right to believe what they want. You don't have to try to change that person and show that, hey, I don't believe that, so I'm going to convince everybody else this is not real and destroy property. Nobody really cares, really and truly. You do you. Don't destroy other people's property. Basically to get your point across. Mm-hmm. Makes no sense.
And talking about getting the point across, all the crazy Karens, listen. I was re-watching some of those videos today.
What they say, wait, hold on. We love our banana republic. Oh my God.
Listen. It's the insanity. That's the only way I can describe it. Because the one who they call the I Am Legend Karen, she was banging on the door, and then when they wouldn't let her in, she licked the door. I'm like, okay, so You lick the door because you tell yourself coronavirus not real. But still, even without coronavirus, that's a door that everybody would be touching. You lick the... Like, why? The craziness, like, why?
Yeah. And that one from Central Park with the guy walking the dog.
But
he was reading and she was walking the dog.
That, besides crazy, that to me is hella dangerous because she literally put her man's life.
Yeah, that basically was a hit she was setting up.
Yes.
You know? So she should actually be charged for attempted murder.
I can't remember what charges, but she had to go to court, right? But for me, it's like people get out of whatever bubble you're living in because that's really crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
So we leave the strangeness of September behind and we get to October. My favorite month of the year.
And I wonder why.
Because we launched this podcast in October.
Okay. I just thought it was a different reason. But all right, let's move on.
We launched this podcast in October and it was the first time that I got to bathe in the sea for the year. So I was ecstatic. I don't care. I don't even remember what else happened in October. I was just happy that I get to be in one of my favorite places, the beach, right? And also too, that we were able to make this podcast a reality. Because it was something that we were talking and working on for some time. So I was happy that it actually came to fruition.
Where was I that day when you went to the beach? Did I go to work?
Yeah, it was a Friday. You went to work.
Oh. It was a Friday? No. You know, it was a weekend, a Saturday morning. If I'm not mistaken, it was a Saturday morning.
Okay. Okay, so the podcast launched on the Friday night before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, when I went to the beach, it was a Saturday morning. It was early. Yeah. All right. Then we roll around to November. And in November, actually November 25th to be exact, New York Times published a list of top 25 greatest actors and actresses. They said they limited it to the 21st century, something of that sort. Anyway, I found the list interesting. Here's some of the picks. Number 23 was Mahershala Ali. Number 22 was Melissa McCarthy. 17 was Alfred Woodard. 15 was Michael B. Jordan. 12 was Joaquin Phoenix. 9 was Viola Davis. 4 was Keanu Reeves. And number 1 was Denzel Washington. I'm not going to deliberate on the accuracy of this. This is, as they say, it's subjective. They justified why they ranked these actors and actresses in that order. I would say the names that I've called are great people of talent. I'd give them that, right? But I use this to segue into what most of us would have spent a lot of time doing during lockdown, which is watching
a lot of movies
on Netflix, whether it be TV series or movies. So, babe, what was your best Netflix series?
It had to be Fargo. Yeah, if I had to be Fargo.
Well, that was not Netflix, but that was a TV.
Yeah, that was TV.
Yeah, TV series.
It wasn't Netflix, but that's the only series I could actually remember every episode.
Okay.
Other series just blend into one long movie, but this was like, wow, this show is good.
Yes.
You know, and I haven't seen anything like that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was my number one series, TV series.
And I agree with you because remember, I told you, I think that Chris Rock deserves an Emmy nomination for his role in this season of Fargo.
Oh, definitely.
He was great. He was absolutely great. But the best thing that we watched together on Netflix, in my opinion, was that American Barbecue Showdown. Like, I love seeing the competition, and we picked our favorites and we were rooting for them all the way to the end. And yeah, I followed some of them on Instagram afterwards. I really, really enjoyed that. It was something different. But again, it's something we like because it's food.
It's
It's
food,
barbecue.
yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. It was very creative.
Yes, it was. Like, really, who knew all of that went into barbecuing?
Techniques and talents.
Yeah, boy. And what was your best movie?
Best movie, 21 Bridges. Chadwick Boseman.
Okay, that was this year. I can't remember.
I believe so. That was
What?
earlier this year. I believe. Because I watched that show a couple of times, but I think it was this year.
Okay, I can't remember. I actually like The Invisible Man. And this is interesting, right? Because I'm going through the list of movies that were released this year. And I saw The Invisible Man. And that's to tell you how long 2020 was. I couldn't even remember that was this year. But you were the one who wanted to watch it. And I was like, okay, fine, let me watch it together. But I actually enjoyed it.
Yes.
I honestly, I must say it was a good movie. I like the trial of the Chicago 7 as well, but I have to give it to The Invisible Man.
No, I didn't watch that movie.
Well,
It would have made me upset.
Yeah,
So I
but it's my
couldn't.
kind of thing. It had politics and history in it.
Yeah, your kind of thing.
Right, so then we roll around to this month, December.
December, which is still going, folks.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but I can't wait for it to end.
Well, by the time they're listening to this, it's the 1st of January, so it would have been over for them.
Yes.
But December is a special month for us.
Yes, it's an anniversary kind of month. That's why it's nice. That's the best part of December, actually. Yeah, that was the best part of December. And it showed that, hey, this time has passed so quickly. It's December already. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's your favorite time of year. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, folks, I love Christmas. I believe it's the time of the year when most people are very happy. And I enjoy that. Not mostly the gifts and food and these things, but people are genuinely a lot more happy around December, coming close to Christmas. I have no idea. Probably the music is different when you hear those Christmas carols, and there's a lot of oldies which take you back to a simpler time.
Okay.
People actually enjoy that.
Okay.
I do anyway.
It's either here or there for me.
No. I wouldn't even say that. I would not say that.
But
you actually enjoy the oldies and the trickle down of the happiness of everybody else. So you might say it not, but you will hear a song and you will tap your leg or, hey, okay, I remember. And you start to become nostalgic. Remember when you were smaller, you used to do what? So you may think it not here nor there, but I see the reaction, I see the effect.
The thing that makes me happy is that, yeah, as you say, December is almost over and 2021 is almost here. And I'm looking forward to whatever good things 2021 has to bring. So that's why I am happy in this month of December, honestly.
I really can't wait to put 2020 behind me.
Definitely. So that was a really deep dive. We hope that you stayed with us through the 12 months of 2020. We're going to turn around now and head towards the surface in our penultimate segment, Thing to Eat.
Thing to Eat. Okay, I have a question. For how long can you eat leftovers? How many days? Without actually becoming sick of it?
My record is 7 days.
Okay, that sucks. That will never happen. But not for me anyway.
My record is 7 days.
No.
And I was proud of it because it was my university days. And yes, I could have gone to my mom's house for food. But I was like, no, this is how you learn to be independent. So I cooked up a pot of pilau and I eat my pilau. It wasn't in the fridge. It wasn't spoiled. It was good. Right?
7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, on your own with that.
I know, but that's all right.
I believe it's 3. And this question is important because we are at that time of the year. And we know Christmas Day for those in the States, Thanksgiving. I know you all had leftovers for like a week, at least. Just kept different things, making different combinations of the exact same food. So I would really like to know, message us, let's know what's your limit on leftovers. And for the other part, let's hear what your menus were.
Yeah, I'm really interested to find out what was the menu.
What was the menus? Let's hear. You know, we want to hear everything. Was it simple? Did you go all out? Are you a turkey person? Not? Let me know.
All right, so as we come up for air and bring this episode and season 1 to an end, Joe, what's filled your love tank this week?
My love tank this week was filled by the 12 months of the year, actually.
What you mean by that?
We are alive and we're happy.
Okay.
So
I get that.
Came now that is like, yes, we made it through a very trying time. And majority of family, everyone is alive, kicking, enjoying the last week of this year. And no major problems occurred, well, for us anyway. Right? So being grateful for that, my love tank is filled.
I totally agree. As you said at the outset, I am full of gratitude that the people who I love, who are nearest and dearest to me, are healthy, safe, sound, and made it through 2020. I'm honestly ecstatic about that.
Yeah.
I
did
hope
well.
that it continues that way into 2021.
Yeah, this year was, I believe, one of the most trying years, most tiring, emotionally exhausting. The news was
Depressing.
Yeah.
Infuriating.
Wow.
All at the same time. We felt almost every emotion the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people wouldn't, according to what country living in, felt it more than others.
Yeah. Some people still going through it.
Yeah. So it's...
We send some love your way.
Yes. Y'all did it. Y'all made it this far. Continue. Take it easy. It would get better.
Right. So, as we end off the 10th episode of season 1, be sure to subscribe to this podcast on whatever app you're listening to this. As always, we are on Google, Apple, Spotify, etc. And if you are listening on Apple and Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating and give us a good review. As always, we welcome your feedback on our Instagram page at Journey to Forever TT. And stay tuned for season 2 coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yes.
Nice having you all, folks. Have a great one. See you all in 2021.
Happy New Year!